The Peach State is home to many things, and one specific thing is unpredictability in racing. I wonder if anyone can forget 2000, 2001, and 2005 here in the NASCAR Cup Series, or Petit Le Mans in 2015 when the Porsche somehow won overall in the downpour. Today, we're going to see if NASA can add to that unpredictability. Between our two championship leaders, the momentum has ebbed and flowed throughout the season. Conor Parisi overcame adversity in Norway to best his Norwegian counterpart Syndra Silva in Indianapolis, but Syndra was able to sneak away and win the endurance round before Parisi came back and had 3 in a row to himself. The Massachusetts native looks to continue his run of success and take the red plate by himself to the championship finale in Charlotte next week. As it's Victor Vallee in the production truck, Cody Erdmann next to me in the commentary cube. I am Josh Mertz as we bring you live lights to flag coverage tonight of the Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Our event and coverage are tonight both brought to you, words are hard, by Simracer Coin, the cryptocurrency made by Simracers for Simracers, and our racers will race to own the winner's coin tonight. We don't have that much time, so we'll go through the format really fast before we get going. 20 cars, 4 heat races, 6 laps apiece. Joker lap once, top 2 transfer. Other cars to the LCQ, 5 laps, Joker once. Winners will transfer. Final 10 cars, 10 laps, 2 Jokers. And the Constructors' Championship and the Manufacturers' Championship both clinched. Spark and Subaru both get those championship leaders. Syndra Silva, Conor Parisi both tied with the red plate. We're having a little bit of a technical issue this week. It might say Phoenix might not have the red plates. We're going to try and figure that one out. But Cody Erdmann's next to me. I'll give you a moment here. No Robertson, no Ragster. He's broken his hand. And I think Brandon Lambert is peeking his head around the circuit here. And I think he has an ASN microphone on. So we'll have to see. Hi, Cody. How are you?
Hi. Yeah, it's a fun night here to be in Atlanta. Looking for some good racing. Just kind of looking at the quick leaderboards. Obviously, Syndra and Connor's up front, top 2, but P3 by Jason Hook.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't see that, actually.
Yeah, he's sitting 10th in the point standings. So this will probably be a good points day for him as we're looking to be girding up here.
As heat number 1 here in Atlanta. Syndra Silva, Matt Hartley, former champion of the series, in his private Subaru. He won here in that championship season. Marwan Moftah, Adam Thomas, and Sean Stratton returns in the 72. Like I said, we're going to have a little bit of a graphic issue tonight at the beginning. Hopefully we can get that fixed. If you cut us some slack, Victor Vallee says probably not, but we'll figure it out. Welcome to ASN, where things are kind of broken, but we roll with it anyways. I think we're waiting for Adam Thomas. I'm really impressed with Adam last week in Daytona. He got that podium finish. I think he's going to have that momentum to carry through Atlanta here.
Yeah, he has some good speed. He's always showed some good speed, just some really bad luck, I feel like. So hopefully, let's see if we can build on momentum from Daytona and in here at Atlanta.
Because I don't think Adam Thomas is actually on the circuit here.
No, he is not. We're
waiting for him. Graphics package broke again. Now we're in Daytona, so Victor Vallee just has a time machine, and we can transfer throughout states. I mean, we're closer than Phoenix, though, so I guess that's a consolation. Getting ready for Heat 1 here in Atlanta. Green flag, Syndra Silva off the line. Good start over Matt Hartley into turn number 1. Very cautious is the Australian. Marwan Moftah, the Egyptian on the inside. Adam Thomas, 625 there in the Volkswagen. Volkswagen hits the 191 of the Subaru of Moftah. Over the jump. Silva, Thomas into the wall. Hartley, Moftah, Stratton, the running order. Thomas had a little bit of a squirrely jump there in the 625.
And Syndra out to a nice, decent lead, about 10 car lengths. And battle for a transfer spot between Hartley and Marwan. These Marwan Jokers.
As Silva jokers as well. Stratton jokers as well. Thomas does. The only car that does not is Hartley in the 48, which we've talked about. We beat that dead horse numerous times. Words are hard. It's a decision whether you want to joker that early. And I've always liked it, and I really hope I don't counteract myself of what I've said, but I really like it to joker late, because you can gather all that time up from the other guys that jokered, and then you can steal the position away.
Yeah, if you can set yourself kind of farther back, or at least away, so you can run your own race, and then once you reel them back in, you use the joker as an easy passing opportunity and just jump the spots.
As first lap, 56.497, 58.8 for Marwan, 59.9 and a 1 minute 9 for Stratton and for Thomas. Silva over the jump. You'll notice, like I mentioned with our graphics issues, Silva and Parisi, both co-championship leaders. There also was an error getting the red plates distributed, so luckily Spark LLM was able to put the red numbers on that car like we used to do. Connor Parisi with Jim Beaver Esports did not rewrap the car, so just keep that in mind that we do have those two championship leaders. Stratton holding up Thomas here in the 625.
Yeah, they've been beating bumpers and fenders the last couple corners. We'll see if Adam can get around them and see if he can work up to Marwan.
As Hartley 45.1, he was half a second up on Thomas, and he was 0.8 up on Stratton, actually a second and a half. So I think Hartley's the fastest guy on the track here. Silva 44.779. We'll keep an eye on these guys, but we'll see when he crosses the line here if Hartley 45.2 and Stratton hits the turtle there and spins in the 72. So he got bumped by Thomas and then hit the turtle.
Going for a wild ride there.
Stratton tries to get through the corner to take the fight to Hartley, the former champion. He does not get it done. Hartley half a second down on Syndra, but he was up on everybody else. So it's interesting to see. I don't know if those are motorless motorsport setups that he ran, or if he's ran his own setups in his private effort this week. If you're Syndra Silva, Cody, what are you thinking?
Right now, just make laps. It's pretty much just a free practice run. See if you can find anything, try anything that's kind of been running through your head. It's right now, yeah, Syndra, he's got almost a 4.5 second lead here at the moment. So just kind of run your own race. Don't shoot yourself in the foot and make it to the final.
Hartley jokered while you were speaking. No contest for the transfer spot between the Australian and the Egyptian Marwan Moftah. We take the white flag here in Atlanta, and Syndra Silva has been untouched all race long. Of course, we have one lap left. If I'm Matt Hartley, I really wouldn't push this because you're in a final transfer spot. We know how quick Marwan is, too, so it's interesting to see that Hartley faster than the Egyptian here.
Yeah, and I just kind of looked at the quick lap time here. It looks like we have about a 9 to 10 second delta on Joker, so we'll have to use that for the rest of the races here. But yeah, Hartley seems to have a little bit more pace than Marwan.
Final corner for Syndra Silva over the jump. Confirmation on that delta right under 9 seconds. And Syndra Silva certainly had that over Hartley. He wins heat number 1, pole position, and that's the exact spot you need to be if you want to take the championship lead for yourself. Myself, Cody, and actually Lambert all have been in that scenario, so I think we'd like to agree.
Definitely.
To the LCQ from that race, we are going to have Moftah, Thomas, and Stratton. Now we're going to see the other championship leader, Connor Parisi, see if he can try and get the outside for row number 1 here in Atlanta. Ray Kingsbury, Magnus Okenhaug, Andrew Howell, and Diane Feldman. What could have been for Magnus? Not sure why the Norwegian missed last week, but he is mathematically out of the championship hunt here. There's technically only 3 cars, and one of them is not here. So no Bo Albert again, so it's going to be Silva versus Parisi, but we got to get through these heat races first here in Atlanta. Green flag. What a start for Connor off the line. Caught Ray sleeping side by side. It's Okenhaug with his teammate Kingsbury down to turn 1. Kingsbury on the outside of the corner. Howell in the 666 looked like he tried to poke his nose underneath the 26, couldn't get it done. Parisi loves this, just like Silva last race, and the last lap motorsports cars side by side going into turn number 1. Kingsbury on the outside trying to hold the advantage. So tricky to get this section right, Cody.
And I was surprised it kept it door to door the entire time as Ray's looking to fight, but as Magnus takes a joker.
And it looked as though that Ray might have wanted to joker. The body language of that car had to change. And it did, as Victor Vallee brought that up. It checked him up, checked the 25 up, and put him into the clutches of Andrew Howell. Parisi will lead at the end of the first lap ahead of Okenhaug, Kingsbury, Howell, and Feldman. They are racing for third. It's going to be, I would think, a battle between these LLM cars for this transfer spot.
I would have to agree with you on that. Although Andrew's able to keep up with Ray on this, so let's see if he can possibly play a little bit of a spoiler.
And we know the DGRX crew really gaining speed, gaining momentum. Speaking of, Diane Feldman jokers in the 84. You'll put her ahead of Kingsbury. So maybe that they're not the team orders, but for lack of a word, I'll say team orders, that between Feldman and Howell here say, hey, I'll joker, maybe try and hold up the 25.
It's definitely a possibility. Who knows what may happen? We're trying to help each other out.
They take lap 3 for Parisi. Okenhaug in second. And I'm suspecting that Kingsbury's going to joker on this last opportunity. I just have a feeling, but he's probably going to make me out to be a liar as he rounds the corner here. This section, this middle sector, so tricky to get right. And I can't put it into words. Like the fishbowl here, one of the most difficult corners in the championship. Speaking of difficult corners, we're going to have a couple of those at Charlotte next week. I am so very excited to go back to Charlotte. Howell jokers in the 666. I missed that one. Thank you, Victor Vallee. Side by side are the teammates. This is for third. So this isn't going to help. And Kingsbury is the last car to joker here in heat number 2.
And by the looks of it at the moment, he's about...
Contact between them! Not to cut you off, these guys and girls are racing so hard for third. You can tell there's no team orders between these guys. This is racing that reminds me of you and me.
Yeah, and Andrew actually messed up. He clipped the turtle, and that's what made Diane run into him.
As they are, Victor Vallee does confirm technically 2 separate teams, but you got to think about it. It's essentially the same team, just like Ultimo Giro and Last Lap last season.
And as we were watching that, too, Ray jokered, so now he's running the back bumper of Magnus.
So this is actually going to hurt him, though. I do think that original checkup there, Magnus on the curb! And everything I was just about to talk about, out the window.
Commentators curse on us like accidentally.
As this track, that section's so hard to get right. And this track especially, I don't understand it. This sweeping corner, the fishbowl here, side by side Okenhaug with Howell, this left-hander is so hard because, at least to me, there's no line on the inside to hug. No, like, curb, for example. So you're either going to be in the wall or in the dirt on the opposite side of the track.
Yeah, this was one of the tracks that always, it made me scratch my head. There was no good spots to find your marks to turn in or braking points. So yeah, it's definitely one of the more challenging circuits that we have on the schedule.
On board the helmet cam of Connor Parisi in car number 11. For anyone that likes to keep track, if he can hold on for these last couple of corners, there is going to be no championship advantage for either of them. They're still technically going to be tied as they both won their heat race. So it's going to be a winner-take-all scenario for this race, and this season gets tighter and tighter with one race left. Off of the final corner, Parisi wins heat number 2 in Atlanta ahead of Ray Kingsbury in the 25. Magnus Okenhaug, after spinning off of the curb, will come home in third, and the brawl between the DGR stablemates, teammates, alliance mates, whatever you want to call it, Howell over his teammate Feldman.
That was a really good race there that they had. I kind of wish that Magnus didn't make that mistake. I felt like it would have been a pretty good battle for the transfer spot, but to each their own. Off to the next heat race.
As Kieran Forrest in the 44 in this heat race, Jason Hook, Bodie Cryer, Romain Rateau, and Mike Berry in another race again in that ASN car. Remember, join the conversation, hashtag ASNTVUSA. Follow all those social media channels for all of our shows here today. Interestingly, Forrest is the only Apex Racing car. There's no Robertson, there's no Brokaw. Brokaw sitting it out for the rest of the season. So the man from Indiana holding the baton for that team. Green flag for Heat 3. Hook misses the start compared to Cryer. Off the line, Rateau in the middle. Down to turn 1. Rateau wisely backs out. Forrest to the inside in the Ford. Outside is Cryer. Inside is Hook. Over the jump for the first time. Once again, it's essentially stablemates between these two GGR cars, and here comes Forrest peeking to the inside.
I feel like Kieran's going to put a pretty good battle as he gets into the second spot of the transfer. Romain tries to look around the outside of Cryer.
Let's see what will happen here on the first opportunity. I looked like Rateau. Rateau said, see ya, I'm not going to follow you through the fishbowl. I'm quicker than you. So Hook, Rateau, and Berry will joker on their first opportunity as we have Forrest and Cryer not jokering in the Ford and in the Subaru. I think this might actually be, as I think they were the race leaders, come to think of it. No, Hook was the race leader. So this is going to be the battle for the transfer spot, I think.
Most likely. Cryer seemed to bobble a little bit landing on the jump there.
But we know how quick the Frenchman Romain Rateau is in car number 23 compared to the Aussie Jason Hook. Hook finished on the podium at Crandon last season, but that's not a traditional rallycross track. Forrest out of the joker, blows past Rateau, a lot like DRS in Formula One. That just shows you the pace differential on the joker merge. So Forrest into the transfer spot as you straight line that whole section instead of having to come around that corner. So now Forrest, who has had such abysmal luck this season, let's see if he can hold off that transfer or even go one better and catch Hook.
Yeah, now just had a quick peek at the qualifying times. The top 4 guys were within a second of each other, so this is going to be a really good race, I feel like.
As Rateau got a great run through that corner. Not to cut you off there, I saw it through the first bit of the fishbowl. Looking side by side for a moment, exiting the sweeper, past the grid. And these two, this battle's not over, Cody.
No, it is not. And if you look at the leaderboards, you also have Cryer, who's 10 seconds back. So Romain just
contact with Forrest and Rateau.
One thing we have seen is Romain does like to use that front bumper occasionally.
I have to, not that we spend our time speculating, but I just rolled it back and took a look. Forrest was on the brakes in front of Rateau, so I don't think there was anything that he could do. Of course, that's not our job to speculate. The job that we do is to talk about these cars going very fast on a racetrack, and Bodie Cryer has not jokered in the 05. I think he's waiting until the last lap here, gentlemen.
I think he's trying to have these two battle each other to bring them two to him, so then when he jokers, he jumps in front of him.
Delta 10.4 seconds from Hook to Cryer. Victor did confirm that the delta was just under 9, so if I do some quick math, that is going to put us at about 9 seconds from Rateau to Cryer. This is... Hook leads 45.775, 45.503 for Rateau, 6.21 for Forrest. Berry's 4/10 off of that. 45.5 for Cryer. They matched time. He did joker, but he might get stuck behind Mike Berry in the 4, unless the 4 moves out of his way.
Ooh, and it looks like he does.
And Mike Berry, in a one-off drive, gets out of the way of our potential transfer spot here. We've got 1 lap to go to see what will happen. Hook leads Rateau, Forrest, Cryer, and Berry in Heat 3.
And Romain's actually been faster than Hook, so he may try to catch him and pass him.
The gap at the line. Let's look what it is. 10.3. The gap went down because he got caught behind Berry. They are exiting the sweeper. Hook is Rateau is all over Hook. Jokering is Cryer. He's going to have the momentum exiting the Joker. I think he can make it here, gentlemen.
He's about 10 car lengths back. Let's see if he can close it up.
Rateau's going to outbrake it. So does Cryer. Final corner. I don't think it's going to come to fruition. And Jason Hook wins heat number 3 ahead of Romain Rateau as Cryer, Forrest, and Barry to the LCQ. And let me tell you, this racing is clean, but it is exciting.
They definitely put on a show, and also with the Joker, it adds a little bit of a strategy move, which we saw Cryer try to use it to his advantage, and it unfortunately backfired.
As we get ready for our final heat race of the night here in Atlanta, Philip Kraus, Matt Kingsbury, Robbie Larill, Chris Wetz, and Travis Seymour. And knowing these guys that are in this race, this one is going to be a brawl. I caught in chat, Adam Thomas said, I said sorry, I don't know what you want from me. I think that was regarding the accident earlier on in his heat race. Looks like Kingsbury there jumped just a pinch on the start. Green flag for heat 4. Kraus gets a better jump off the line, clears the 21, down to turn number 1, but he's going to be very cautious, is the Canadian, into the first couple of corners. Larill to the inside of West. Larill mounting the grass. So is Seymour over the jump for the first time. It is Kraus, Kingsbury, Larill, Wetz, and Seymour. And we'll see what will happen on this first rotation.
And Phil gave himself a nice good buffer to kind of check out and run away.
No, he should Joker now in the 19. So does Matt. Ooh, this is... See, I'm the fan of people alternating their strategy because this really doesn't help any of those guys. Mainly Larill.
Yeah, it does not. And Matt as well. I'm surprised Matt didn't alternate. Although...
Larill has Wetz and Seymour 4th and 5th. Kraus leads at the end of the first lap. We look on board from Matt Kingsbury in the 21 in the last lap with Renovo Racing Volkswagen. Remember, no Sabian Ragster tonight and for the foreseeable future here in NASA Sim Racing. Had some issues, broke his hand. So we miss you, Mr. Ragster, and hope a speedy recovery to get you back on track here. As Kraus ahead of Kingsbury, ahead of Larill, that running order has not changed. Seymour jokers, but he did not come out anywhere close to Larill. So I hate to say this, but this race could be done and dusted. Seymour, I think, had a slowdown there in the 144. This race might be done and dusted.
Yeah. It kind of looks like that, although you do have Matt and Robbie. They are running fairly same lap time, so if Matt does make a mistake, which sometimes he does, as being his teammate in GT, Robbie could capitalize on that situation, sneak into a transfer spot.
Larill was 2/10 down that last lap on Matt in the 21. Kraus loves this in the 19. We all know how fast he is in that Subaru. And Wetz has spun in the 71. Great catch, Victor Vallee off air there. Came out of the Joker, hit the wall, clipped the grass, and the man from Texas, and third on the wins list, loops it in the 71.
And Matt's setting out some good laps. This is probably another good thing for him, just to run good laps. He's in the view of Phil there, so you can see what he's doing to see if he can pick up anything to maybe find some speed. He just hit a 45 flat the last lap there.
He did certainly pick up, and that's one thing that I always did. What was interesting, I always followed Phil in these iRacing cars because he could somehow find pace that I couldn't. And when you're following a guy, right as we talk about it, he runs it off there. But when you follow a fast guy, you follow their lines, you figure out where it is, and Kingsbury caught him, gained 7/10, and he's pulling away from Larill here.
As Matt just threw down another 45 flat.
Faster than Phil that last lap. Phil was a 45.5.
I was thinking as you were saying that, I was like, is that why you like to be behind me?
Let's not talk about that right now. We'll talk. We ride on board Matt Kingsbury in the 21 in the Volkswagen. Down to the final corner. So hard to get that right because the surface changes right in the middle there. We come to the white flag and we will see the lap times, how they span. 44.5, 45.1. So Phil sees that Matt is catching him, turns on his grip hacks. I'm kidding. And pulls away. Robbie Laurel 46.1, Wetz 45.8, and Travis struggling in the 144. His last lap 46.7.
Matt going into the fishbowl there really drove it in deep. I wonder if that's where he's found some of the speed at.
But it looks like I can't figure out if the Volkswagen or the Subaru are better when it grips up, or maybe all of them get there. I know it's just really hard. Matt runs it wide. Final corner, trying to get everything he's worth. Can't get it done. Philip Kraus wins Heat 4 ahead of Matt Kingsbury. So Matt at least transfers ahead of Larill, Wetz, and Seymour in this final heat race. And just like that, we are into the consolation rounds here in Atlanta. It goes quick. Our first consolation will have 6 cars. Marwan Moftah, Bodie Cryer, Thomas, Forrest, Stratton, and Mike Berry. If you had to make a pick in 2 seconds, who would you pick for this C-Main?
Well, if it all depends on the start. It's one thing I've learned, especially here in Atlanta, just from racing here and everything. I would want to say Adam Thomas. Seems like he has the speed.
He does actually have the second row inside lane. We saw that work, I believe it was Syndra last week in Daytona Beach. C-Main, green flag, off the line. Moftah misses it. 3 wide, down to turn 1. Cryer's got the outside. Moftah tries to brake late. So does Thomas. Inside, Thomas on Moftah. Moftah pushes him to the inside. Cryer loves this. He pulls away. Forrest to the inside. 3 wide. Thomas sideways into Forrest. Both of them into the fence. And Mike Berry involved as well.
That's why I was saying that depends on the start, because I know how wild these can get, especially with the jump being the second after the second corner of the start.
And our ASN car ends up turtled. Adam Thomas involved. And that was just 3 cars going for 1 bit of real estate and running out of room. And I suspect that Mike Berry might join us in the next couple minutes here. But Cryer runs it wide in the 0-5. Forrest to the inside, tries to take the fight, nearly makes contact over the jump. I don't know if they jokered. I unfortunately did not catch that. So now it is an all-out fight for this transfer spot. And we know, Cody, how hungry Kieran Forrest is.
Yeah, and especially after the last one where he can, in the heat race, he can almost taste the transfer spot. So, and he showed pace here today. So let's see if he can work on Cryer.
Oh, better run through the fishbowl, side by side. Cryer ran it wide, beating and banging. There's the 44 and the 0-5. Cryer muscled his way through that corner.
Definitely some elbows out racing here for trying to get that last transfer spot.
You have to imagine that experience of elbows out racing is helping Bodie Cryer. Remember, he is a world championship stadium truck driver. So fairly experienced there, obviously enough, and that is paying off for him. 45.7 for both of them. Forrest behind him. Looks like he locked it up there in the 44.
And let's see if I know we're about halfway through this race at the moment. We do have, these two are the only 2 that have jokered so far. Let's see if anyone can catch them, maybe jump them on the joker lap.
If I look at the lap times, 10.7 from Cryer to Stratton in the 72. Forrest runs it wide in the 44. That might have sealed it. He hit the wall on the inside, just like I talked about earlier, Cody. So hard to get that corner right.
Yeah, and he's trying to use the grass there on the inside of the last corner there to help turn the car a little bit. Not sure if it's working or not, but he keeps trying to use it.
Cryer, 2 laps to go ahead of Forrest, Stratton, Moftah, and Berry and Thomas. Apparently my voice is not playing nice, so I'll let you talk for just a couple minutes.
Yeah, and you got Kieran. He's working and super hard to try to keep up with Cryer here. Hopefully Cryer makes another mistake. We got, as we look on board Cryer here, it's about 2 seconds, about a second and a half. Kieran is off the back bumper of him. As they come over the jump, come to the white flag here.
Cryer ahead of Forrest. That gap, I think, has increased. No, it has stayed 1.49. So I don't think the gap is going to change. I don't think, unfortunately, Stratton got passed by Moftaw. Moftaw jokered. So we'll just have to see. Kieran just really slowed up in the fishbowl, which was odd because there's still a lap to go. Stratton jokers in the 72, and he will get by Forrest. It's a shame that the top two don't transfer, but this is for 11th place for points, and Stratton into Forrest. Cryer will seed 9th here in Atlanta. He wins the LCQ, but it's the battle for 11th that I never thought that we would make a big deal about, and Forrest had a better run off the jump. He finishes 11th. 13th is Stratton. 15th is Moftaw. 17th, Adam Thomas. And 19th is Mike Berry.
Well, and just by doing a quick points look here, that's going to help Kieran because he was tied with an 18th with Derbyshire with 103 back. And Edmondson's also only 3 points ahead of him, so looks like Forrest is going to jump up here a couple spots no matter what.
We get ready for our B main here in Atlanta. Mike Berry certainly wanted to drift, but I don't think that's what he really intended on doing. Magnus Okenhaug, Robbie Larill, Andrew Howell, Chris Wetz, Diane Feldman, Travis Seymour. This is going to be a good race. We know how quick Magnus is, but I have been impressed by the pace of Larill and Howell here in Atlanta.
It seems like those DGR cars all came to play tonight.
Green flag for the B main. Wett's got a great jump. Okenhaug pulled the Schumacher, blocked Howell into turn one. Howell deep on the brakes, misses the corner. He thought he would have been able to take the spot, couldn't get it done. Seymour nearly gets turned by Feldman. Seymour uses Wetz to make it through the corner. Wreck-It Ralph goes from 6th to 2nd, and Howell beating and banging with his teammate Larill. Okenhaug loves this. Seymour in 2nd, Wetz in 3rd, and then the DGR cars 4th, 5th, and 6th battling down the order. I think Wetz might be quicker than Seymour, especially if Seymour does that. So Chris Wetz historically does not joker. We'll see if the American from Texas can do anything against the Norwegian Magnus Okenhaug.
And surprisingly, Magnus on this race was the only one to joker. Everyone else...
Larill did joker, not to cut you off. Larill did joker.
Thank you. I didn't... When I looked the first time, he was not there yet, so... But yeah,
Feldman had spun off of the sweeper in the 84. She clipped the dirt on the right-hand side, and she's now stuck it into the fence. So Diane Feldman looks like she will come home in 20th. We look at Howell and Wetz here, Cody, as they have not jokered. We know Wetz's strategy. We know what he's done over the past 9 years. He's not going to joker yet. He's going to wait and watch the field come to him.
And right now he's sitting about 10 seconds back. So this'll, if he can keep that delta right around there, maybe close in about another second, he could jump Magnus. So let's see what he does here.
As Seymour in 5th, got by Feldman, obviously. Feldman put it into the wall. 45.7 for Magnus, 45.5 for Larill. It was at the line 46 flat, so 3/10 down was Wetz on Magnus that last lap. Wetz pushing very hard. But we know what happened to Magnus in that heat race. He clipped the curb wrong, and it spit him off of the road. Howell jokers in the 666. So Wetz... So the teammates are going to be battling for 2nd. Wetz has all the track that he needs, but it's just a matter if he can hold the pace. 2 laps to go for Magnus.
As going into that double apex, Howell almost overcooked that corner again, like on the start.
46.1 for Larill. Obviously, it was a joker lap for Howell, so it reports a 37.8. Side by side, nearly were the teammates there in the infield. And back out to the fishbowl. Wets over in the 71. And historically, either really fast or crashing spectacularly, is the man from Texas.
Those Teenage Blue Mutant Ninja Turtles definitely do catch you a little bit.
And that's not the first time I've seen a car do that, because I've done that multiple times. Vehicular Gymnastics gold medal goes to Chris Wetz.
As Larill's been able to hold off Howell here.
As Seymour also parked it in the 144. So Magnus is going to have a nice, easy run home, I think. Howell missed the corner there in turn 1. These two cars are battling. This is for 12th. For that best of the rest spot in the B main. A lot more chaotic than I thought it would be, Cody, but in kind of the wrong ways.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's been more chaotic in the back and not for the transfer spots.
Final corner, and Magnus Ogenhaug will redeem himself for the heat race. Hiccup winning the B main, seeding in 10th. 12th will be Robbie Larill in the 213. 14th will be Howell. 16th, Chris Wetz. 18th, Seymour. And 20th is Diane Feldman. As I think Brandon Lambert's roaming around here, we'll bring in Victor Vallee. And if Lambert's roaming around, I'll see you guys in just a couple minutes.
Say that I am roaming around here. I don't know about Brandon. I don't know if he's here or not, but I can go ahead and ask if he is here. I say I don't think he is. I think he's out of the commentary box. Actually, hold on.
I'm here.
We do have Brandon here, but he's got a couple of things to take care of before he joins us for the warm-up show. With that said, Cody, you're still here. We can go ahead and recap a little bit of the action so far. With that said, your points leaders, if we were to say that, but they went and actually were able to win their heats, so they're still tied in points.
Yeah, they did exactly what they needed to do coming in here. Really, it's only a 2-horse race now, so they have to make... They're pretty much just paying attention to each other and not the rest of the field. So let's see if they can... It's all going to come down to the starters. Them two are on the front row.
Yeah.
So
there's a 2-dog show at the pony races, or the 2-pony show at the dog races, as my compatriot Travis Brown, also known as Moonhead, likes to say on his streams. It's always a good time over there. So I'd like to give him a shout out. I know he's probably going to be doing some racing tonight with the moon car stuff, but going back to what we see tonight is just as exciting as the moon car stuff. Every single race we've had tonight has had some kind of action, some kind of contact, and I think that's exactly what we like to see in Rallycross racing, is that elbows out, a little bit of contact, but not too much contact kind of racing, and I think nobody does that better than Syndra Silva and Connor Parisi, which is why they currently lead the championship standings.
So, Lambert, since you've been kind of been able to just sit back and watch, you got anyone that may be like a dark horse for this?
I thought it'd be Kieran, but seeing him lose out in his LCQ just kind of killed me a little bit inside. So I thought he was really quick tonight, and I was hoping he could make it in the final and give some of these guys a run for their money. As for dark horses and the race, I'm looking at Jason Hook. This guy's just blistering fast tonight, just kind of out of nowhere. I mean, he's been quick all season, but just tonight he's just really put it on. So, you know, if Syndra and Parisi can, if they get together or whatnot, look for Jason Hook to take advantage and sneak out a win.
I believe Jason Hook was 4th or 3rd fastest in qualifying, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, let me go ahead and take a look while I have a chance to do that. Third fastest for Jason Hook, faster than Philip Kraus, Matt Hartley, Ray Kingsbury, Bodie Cryer, and Matt Kingsbury as well. So all of those drivers I mentioned are absolutely some of the best drivers in Rallycross racing as we know it. With that said, however, I say not too many of them get to the final. I think Mofta misses out on a final, so tonight it will be Silva, Parisi, Hook, Kraus, Hartley, Kingsbury, Rateau, Matt Kingsbury, Bodie Cryer, and Magnus Okenhahn. It's your 10 drivers who make it to the feature. And a guy I gotta take a look at here is Romain Rateau. Bodied his way into it. He made his way in. He bodied his way by, I believe it was Kieran Forrest, to make it in his heat race. I mean, honestly, I can't get over how much of a Cinderella story this is. It seems like we have a Cinderella story every single week in the NASCAR Rallycross series.
And after you were going kind of through the qualifying standings and everything, I kind of looked at it as well. Romain's actually the only one that didn't qualify in the top 10. Marwan's the only one that did qualify in the top 10 that didn't make the final, but we have 9 of the top 10 guys that qualified in the top 10 in the final, and then Romain was almost down in like 16th range, it looks like. 16th, 17th range.
Yeah, looks like it. And
yeah. He made it all the way into the final, jumping some pretty fast cars like Kieran and Adam Thomas and Wetz. So
it was,
I don't know if he just had a bad qualifying lap maybe, but he definitely proved that he should be in the final.
Yeah, definitely proved to be worthy of a final by transferring in, being elbows up with the best of them and making it in. And honestly, one thing about Rateau is he always makes the best starts. He always gets the most out of the starts. We saw it, I think it was last week at Daytona, and he somehow got an alien start. And I think everybody in the session was a little bit shocked and a little bit scared at the same time that someone could be that good off the line and not get a jump start. As looks like our warm-up is about to wrap up, so I will transfer the mic back over to the voice of the Sim Racer Coin NASCAR Rallycross Challenge, Josh Mertz. Take it away.
As welcome everyone to round number 9 of the 2021A Simracer Coin NASA Rallycross Challenge, the cryptocurrency made by sim racers for sim racers. It's Victor Vallee, Cody Erdmann, Mike Berry has apparently figured his way out over here. He'll probably talk throughout this race.
Yeah.
Cody Erdmann, Josh Mertz, thank you all for joining us. We got 10 cars getting ready to go for 10 laps here in Atlanta, and our grid is this. Defending champion Syndra Silva on pole position next to his co-championship leader, Connor Parisi. Jason Hook, Philip Kraus, Matt Hartley, Ray Kingsbury, Romain Rateau, Matt Kingsbury, Bodie Cryer, Magnus Okenhahn. This turn 1, and I keep saying this every week, turn 1 is crazy. This is, just so everyone knows, round number 185 of the championship overall, and thank you for everyone for joining us tonight. We get ready to go green in Atlanta. Green flag off the line. Syndra gets a better start than Parisi. Down to turn number 1. Side by side. Contact in the back. It's with Hook, with Hartley, with Rateau. Everybody crashes in the back of the field. Parisi gets a better run off the second part of the corner. Hartley into the wall. Hook into the wall. Over the jump for the first time. We have 8 cars left essentially, and the championship leaders nose to tail here down into turn number 1. Kraus watching this, watching to see if anything goes wrong. We'll see if anyone takes to the Joker on the first opportunity, and they split it. Syndra goes, Parisi does not. Magnus will Joker in the 26. Kraus getting close to Parisi, and it's a bummer that the Australians, just like that, are out of this race. But who is not out of this race? Syndra Silva holding this lead, trying to prevent Parisi from getting 4 in a row.
And Kraus did exactly what he needed to do to latch onto the back of Connor. Now let's see if Philip can play the spoiler in this and mess up the points.
We know how fast the Canadian is. We raced against him. He was our teammate. We know how that one goes. Magnus in the 26 Jokers. He completes his strategy. Dare I say it, this might be a spoiler here as Magnus Jokers ahead of Syndra.
Yeah, it definitely seems like those two LLM cars, they both came here with some pretty good speed to fight against these two championship contenders.
Cryer and Kingsbury there. Not to cut you off, Cryer and Kingsbury were side by side in the Joker. That was, I want to say, their first Joker. Matt Kingsbury gets close to the 05, nudges him there. Parisi and Kraus back in the back of the field. Hartley has left the session, so former champion, out of this race. Hook back on track in the 137. He's going to be off the pace here. We'll see if Syndra is going to joker. He does not in the 63. That gap was 5 seconds. But look at this gaggle for third on back.
As Rateau jokers here to jump ahead of Crier and both of the Kingsburys.
He comes out behind Magnus after his first joker. I was going to say, as Victor off mic confused us all, I was going to say if it was his first joker, he must have been much faster than Syndra, so apologies there, as according to our graphics, it should update with Rateau with his second joker. There we go. So now, it's going to be a battle, really. The 23 and the 26, they can't be battling too much because they know that the 63 is coming.
Yeah, them two better work together and start running away, although the 63...
Crier was going to joker. He was going to follow Ray in the 25, and at the last minute, he couldn't. So now, they're going to be battling for the race lead.
Just like their heat race.
Parisi jokers in the 11. He came out right behind Syndra. Very close to Syndra, actually. But now he's going to lose it. Did he get a slowdown?
Yeah, looks like it. Possibly.
He had to have. He cut that corner way overzealously. But we know how fast Connor is. Side by side, Rateau with Kingsbury. Rateau bowls Kingsbury out of the way, and Kingsbury puts Rateau into the wall.
Wow,
that is very uncharacteristic for Ray Kingsbury. Rateau in the middle of the racing line got hit by Connor Parisi there. Jason Hook stays out of the way.
As Kraus jokers.
Phil jokers for his first opportunity, and he comes out ahead of Parisi. We look at the race lead. Silva's strategy is done. He is out and away from the rest of the field. Huge gap ahead of Magnus Okenhaug. Crier has jokered. Kingsbury has jokered. Kraus has not. He will not. Let me look at the gap here, 10.5. It's going to be very close as we took cross flags that last lap. Very close for Phil to try and make up any gain here. Parisi has a joker left too. So dare I say it, I would wait until the last lap.
That's probably what they're going to do. See if they can reel in, especially Phil. If he can reel in about another second, he'd be able to possibly jump Syndra here with the joker, and Connor would be able to be right behind him or door to door with Syndra if he jokers.
Real quick, I want to point out, I think Matt Kingsbury went off the track coming off the joker.
It's so hard to keep everything in line. Phil jokers, and so does Parisi. They come out behind Silva. Syndra wears the golden horseshoe, and can you get a copy of it for the rest of his team? Okenhaug in 4th, 5th is Crier, 6th Kingsbury, 7th Kingsbury, Ray then Matt. 8th is Rateau, 9th is Hook, and 10th is Hartley. 3 laps to go for Syndra Silva, and this is what he needed to maintain this championship, to steal it away from Parisi, as they're still even on points. It's the winner-take-all for that red plate going into Charlotte next week.
And, yeah, it's kind of what, even after that start, I felt like Phil might have been able to play spoiler in this a little bit as he's sitting in between the two, as they all three had a really good start and was able to just to clear the rest of the field by a second.
As after this race, I get to be sent down to the stewarding tent, so that's going to be a fun debate, as I think something involving Romain Rateau there in the racing line. Not to speculate, but that might be an issue there with Ray Kingsbury. Syndra Silva, last lap was a 44.6. Last lap for Kraus, 45.1. It was a 44.6 for Parisi, but Parisi too far back. And that record of 3 in a row, Cody, might stand here for yet the foreseeable future. I was going to say yet another week, but Syndra would have to win a couple more races to tie it.
Yep, looks like Connor's gonna be co-tied with myself with holding that record.
As remember, Jake Robertson also had those 3 in a row victories, but
Agreed.
one thing I was never able to do was get 3 race wins in a row. You never think that that'd be a big deal.
Yeah, it's definitely plays a lot of luck.
Half a lap to go for the Norwegian, the defending champion, Syndra Silva in car number 63. I say infamously rejected car number 1. Said he has better luck with that 63. We know how important that number is to him, just like 81 for me, 52 for you, 44 for Lewis Hamilton. But Syndra Silva off of the final corner will take the championship lead by himself to Charlotte. He wins in Atlanta ahead of Kraus and sets a precedent for Parisi that it's not going to be that easy, as Okenhaug will come home in 4th. 5th is Matt Kingsbury, 6th is Cryer, 7th is Ray Kingsbury, 8th is Ratto, 9th is Hook, and 10th is Matt Hartley, as Syndra Silva, 10th all-time on the wins list, breaks the tie with a guy named Brandon Lambert for that 10th place.
Yeah, it was a good race, with especially the top 3. They were able to battle each other the whole race. We had some good battles throughout the rest of the field as well.
As what we'll do is, like I mentioned, I'm going to have to run away to the admin tent. We'll pull in Connor Parisi for this 3rd place, and then I'd be able to run away. We'll have Victor Vallee hopefully close this show up.
Alright, so we are about to have, I believe, Connor Parisi in the commentary box. Go ahead. As I wish we had a fade for that, but we don't. But we will be joined in just a moment here, if I can get everything up, and this is why I normally don't do the 3rd place interviews. But Connor Parisi, say finally, is beaten tonight, but hey, since they still on the podium, still have the podium streak going here, and not in the points lead anymore either, but I'm gonna say you still have a very good fighting chance going into the final round in Charlotte. So Connor Parisi, how are you feeling about tonight's performance?
Obviously quite a bit disappointed to not take another W, but it was a good race. Good win to Syndra, and good second to Phil.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know during the race, I know we had a little bit of contact between Ray Kingsbury and Ratto. Ratto got stranded in the middle of the fishbowl. Did that cost you any time, or was that more down to the slowdown that you got when you took your Joker?
The slowdown was certainly the nail in the coffin for the win, and then I think having Romain there in the donk slide cost me second. But it is what it is. It's Rallycross, so what do I have to do? Get like 3rd or 3 or 4 places above Syndra to take the championship next week?
So I believe Josh
3
would have that.
3 points is the gap. So essentially, if you guys were to win your heat races again and you finish ahead of him and he finishes 2nd, that would tie the championship, and I think you would then get it on a tiebreaker.
Oh, I thought I had to get him by like 2 or 3 slots. So it's still straight up. Let's go.
So straight up, about the best you can for a championship over 10 rounds. Impressively enough, you guys go into this with just basically a win and you get the championship. So going into Charlotte, what's the game plan?
Well, I actually got a test. I haven't developed a set for that trek yet. So I'll be doing some practice this week, so hopefully I can find some speed.
A little bit more speed to be found, of course. Always more speed to be found, but as always, who makes you go fast? Who do you got to thank for your result tonight?
Oh, the whole crew at Jim Beaver Esports. Obviously, no shots for me tonight, but fistful of bourbon. It's the last night of the bottle scheme, so we'll be back to the original yellow cowboy scene car, which I think is a badass car. So excited to get back into that one next week. And then Polaris Razor, Dirtfish Rally School, Motorsports Drop, and thanks to you guys for putting on the show.
Well, thank you for showing up and giving us your time for a third place interview. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish once again.
Thanks, fellas.
That was Connor Parisi, who finished third tonight, I believe. Josh, before you go and have to do your admin roles as you always do, we're going to bring in
I
Philip
actually lied to
Krause.
you. I can stay for a couple minutes.
We're
Cody,
gonna
you'll
go
have
ahead-
this one.
We'll go ahead and bring Philip Krause in here for second place interview. Phil, Cody, go ahead and take it away.
Well, hello there, Phil. Good driving by you.
Hello.
You had a pretty good start there. What were you thinking once you made it through the first set of corners, as you were able to be right on the back bumper of the 2 championship contenders?
Well, the primary thing when you make it through turn 1 is to thank God I'm not crashed. But other than that, just trying to keep the pressure on Connor for the most part, even though I was slower than him. It worked for like a lap maybe, but he got a slowdown on his Joker, so that kind of gifted me the position, and I just had to hold off the rest of the race.
I noticed, yeah, you kind of almost had the same Joker plan as him. Do you kind of wish you would have changed it up to maybe feel like you would have been able to close in on Syndra more? Maybe like Connor was holding you up, or do you not? Do you feel like he made the right call?
No, Connor wasn't holding me up. I was slower than him, but
Okay.
I was doing the exact same laps as Syndra, and after the first lap, he'd already had a second and bit lead, so there was no point in trying to catch him up.
Yeah, you kind of right in the beginning, I had a gut feeling right when I saw you get the launch with them too. I was like, let's see if Phil can play spoiler here a little bit and jostle up these points, because it's been the Connor and Syndra show the last couple of weeks, and kind of glad that you were able to do that.
Yeah, this is one of 2 tracks I can actually drive at, so it's fitting.
As Josh and I were saying, that us two, we have a hard time driving this, so yeah, it is pretty fitting. Is there anyone you'd like to thank that helped you get this second step of the podium?
Big shout out to HM Engineering and Spark. They're pretty cool. You should check both of them out.
Well, thank you, Phil, and well, can't wait to see you at the series finale in Charlotte.
Yeah, thank you.
As we bring in our race winner, Syndra Silva. Mr. Silva, I believe at the beginning of this championship, you said something along the lines of, you're going to defend this championship, you're going to race really hard. How was that race today?
That I even got pole that I even won the qualifying there was just insane. I had not a perfect lap at all, and I was so scared watching Connor doing his laps. I only saw one time pop up, and I thought they had like 2 left when I was finished. So I was so scared that he got that quali win. But no, it was he did some few mistakes behind there. I heard Phil said it. That helped so much for me. So it was a nice, easy run around the track and just trying to not do any mistakes.
How difficult is it to run this track? It's a lot like a street circuit. There's not really... actually, it's kind of a hybrid between the two. The middle sector, kind of like a street circuit, there's not really any room for error. Like we were talking about through the show, the fishbowl corner, the sweeper, those 2 corners, it's either wall or it's racetrack. How hard is it to be laser focused here?
You need to be so close to every wall around the track when you drive here. So you really need to be spot on. Otherwise, you're gonna lose so many tenths around the track. So it's all about who is precise enough.
And I got one last question for you. I am so sorry that Connor Parisi left, and I thought that he had a 3-point lead. You have a 5-point lead, and I lied to Connor. So you have 5 points going into next week. What is the game plan in Charlotte?
Just try to survive. It's a new track. Not that many hours on the track myself, and I think everyone else. So just try to survive and just try to be up there. I'm here to defend my title as you started this with. So I'm ready to give a fight.
As before I have you thank your wonderful partners and sponsors, I know how driven you are to become a repeat champion. You are sitting with only 2 of the 3 that have repeated in this series, so I hopefully think you'd like to make it 3. Who'd you like to thank for today's results, Syndra?
You guys in Sparkle and for awesome spotting and just support throughout the race and season. I want to thank the organization behind where I'm in, Fox Gaming, their sponsors Power, Nocco, Ørskog Sparebank and Fyrofell, with the awesome support throughout the season.
All right, buddy. Great run, and good luck next week on defending that championship.
Thank you, guys.
As we begin the final moments of this show, we begin with Victor Vallee on a final thought.
Well, if I can unmute my mic like usual, I can't get quick enough to unmute my mic, but let me tell you guys, as I've said every week, I mean, it does not disappoint. And I knew you made a mistake when you were talking to Connor about it, because he finished third. Wait a minute. If he finishes in front of him, the 2 positions back this week would be 2 positions again next week. But that's besides the point. We have a championship battle going into the final race of the year. And I think that's all we can ask for in this series, is just having a championship battle come down to the wire. Yes, the Constructors is wrapped up. Yes, the Manufacturers and whatever other championships we have are wrapped up for the most part. But the one that is not wrapped up, of course, is the one that's most important. Or at least I believe it's the most important one. Maybe Sparkle LM might think otherwise. But nonetheless, another exciting race. Here's to another exciting championship here in the Simracer 20 NASCAR Rallycross Challenge.
And Cody?
I think this is all we could really have asked for. We got 1 race. We had 2 drivers that are within 5 points of each other, as we realized. It's kind of giving me a little bit of a flashback of when it was me and you, Josh, battling, and we came down to the final race. I remember the one we were at Irwindale, and it literally was the final race, final corner, final lap. Like
2013 C, it was me, you, and Dylan Livengood.
Yeah.
I'll remember that one.
Yeah, it literally came down to that, and I have a gut feeling it's going to do the same. It's going to come down to the final lap, the final corner, at a brand new track that none of these guys have really raced on. So that throws a whole new wild card into this. And we also have another 8 more guys in that race that they have to work around.
So it's a lot like, I hate to pull the NASCAR playoffs card, but you have those 4 guys in that final race, but they're still racing against 36 other guys, and anything can happen. And in this race, you have to go through the heat races, hopefully not the LCQs. You have to get through the final. You got all those cars and all those laps to go through. And I'm just going to echo what Cody and Victor have said. I mean, this season, ever so close, certainly giving me flashbacks. As soon as I saw those points, I thought of that battle, but I also thought of my final championship against Philip Kraus. Just the struggles that both Silva and Parisi had in their own ways. They thought Albert was out and away from the rest of this field. Albert leaves. Partially, he was angry at the first lap Rex, but I want to mention on air, he went and raced, I think he's in an esport championship, like an all-star esport championship. So I will gladly say, take that opportunity, Bo Albert. You deserve it. You're super fast. But the championship goes down to the final race. 5 points. Anything can happen. Usually does in NASA Rallycross. So from all of us here at ASN, Mike Berry, Cody Erdmann, Victor Vallee, Dylan Body, Chad Irvine, I am Josh Mertz. Hope to see you tomorrow for the GT Americas in Long Beach. And next week, we wrap up both this and GT Americas at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in North Carolina. But from all of us, hope to see you at some point this week. But until then, so long, everyone.